your Weather Authority forecast from meteorologist Amber Wheeler.
Well, we're looking for a cold front to move through over the weekend. It's not going to be a super strong one, but it is going to bring a rise in humidity before and a chance for some storms as we head into Saturday night. Here's a live look at Bay St. Louis, where we are seeing clear blue skies, and all across southeast Louisiana you've got the same sky. All of our temperatures are back into the mid to upper 80s today with full sun. So I do think that a lot of us at some point this afternoon will probably hit around 87, 88 degrees at times, and then you'll see that we've got temperatures mostly into the 70s this evening under mostly clear skies. Now, we're not breaking records today or tomorrow, but I do think we certainly could flirt with it on Saturday. That record was set back in 2016 at 89, so we certainly could see the high maybe tie, but we are looking for a drop in the temperatures behind this front. It's not a dramatic drop, but I think you'll feel a bigger difference in how nice the air feels, because we start off next week with some pretty good feeling air. But unfortunately, before then, we've got to rise that humidity as we get into Friday and into Saturday before the front. Now, the severe potential with this front is mostly going to be to our north, but we're going to follow all the storms that move through our area anyways, and we certainly could see a strong storm or two move through our area at some point Saturday night, early Sunday morning. It's not a high likelihood at all, but it's certainly something to watch. Now, we're under the influence of this ridge of high pressure. This is what's kept us well above normal, and as that moves to the east, we've got an onshore flow heading into Friday, probably seeing maybe just a few more clouds on Friday, and then you've got the higher humidity in the afternoon and into Saturday. Notice we could see maybe an isolated shower or storm or two into the afternoon on Saturday, but the main event is still off towards our west. The front is not going to move through until probably overnight, so we'll be watching for the possibility of some storms maybe around midnight, between midnight and the 6 a.m. time frame. It could shift a little bit, but I don't think it's going to shift in day parts at this point. But you are looking at the possibility of those strong storms. There is also another possibility that we actually see this front move through and we don't get as much rain. This is the only model that we have that has been really robust. And you can tell that we've got the stronger storms, or the stronger storm potential, well far to our north. As you get into Sunday, most of the rain should be out of here, and we'll start to see some dry air funneling in, only to see some temperatures warm back up once we get towards the Tuesday time frame, only briefly because another front wants to move through towards the middle of next week. So we're getting into the repeated cold fronts here. This one may not be all that strong either, but it is looking promising that it could bring us maybe just slightly below normal temperatures. That'll be nice. Except for we are looking at possibly maybe a few storms with that one as well. Here is your rain potential for the next 5 days. Notice that this is not a real rainy signal for us. We could see maybe enough to wet the pavement. This is really going to be maybe a few tenths of an inch. If you find yourself under one of the stronger storms or something does get strong, you can see those heavier downpours and see a little more. But the likelihood of you getting a lot of rain at this point is not very high. And you can tell that we've got kind of a weaker cold front with this, because it's not going to really drop our temperatures like really dramatic here. So here's our weak cold front that we've got, a slight drop in temperatures, a little dry air. I think next week we certainly could see a more moderate cold front, but it's those strong cold fronts that we'd like to see that would usher in that more crisper feel and the colder temperatures, much cooler temperatures, and we just don't have that anytime soon. The front that moves through late Saturday into Sunday, I think we'll still see some pretty warm temperatures Sunday, but you'll notice a difference on Monday. So starting off on Monday morning commute, probably seeing some cool temperatures in the 50s and 60s, and then notice that we will see another front towards the middle of next week. And I think that once we add to our 7-day here, we might start talking 70s for highs towards the end of next week because of that front. So we are starting to see a gradual decline in those afternoon temperatures. A check in on the tropics. There is nothing that we're tracking here in terms of the possibility of development. In fact, low end, or no chance really for development over the next 7 days. However, we are watching a few waves, in fact one in particular that the models have been picking up on and try to develop once it moves into the Caribbean next week. This is a week out from any possible development. There's a lot that can change, but we are going to be following that one as it moves into the Caribbean. And if it were to develop, it would be Melissa, and then of course Nestor is behind it. We would have to get to Nestor for this to be considered a typical season or normal season in terms of named storms, and we're not there yet. Here's that 7-day forecast. Upper 80s, and then we'll see that drop getting into next week. And I am looking forward to making the forecast later today, adding Thursday, because I do think we could start talking 70s here for highs.
Really?
We really could. It's not going to be a huge drop towards the end of next week. That's not going to be a super strong cold front, but when you maybe have some 70s after coming out of upper 80s, it's going to feel pretty good.
Upper 80s in mid to late October. It's going to feel really good after
It'll feel
coming
really
out of
good.
that.
We got some time to watch that front though.
All right. Thanks so much, Amber. All right. Well.